Good evening everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. My hair is shorter now. I shaved it all off for the summer just because it is far too warm to be having longer hair, even though it wasn't that long before, but I digress. We're going to be renovating a house today. Of course, I absolutely love renovating houses, especially ones that I haven't really had a look at before, but I just got the Snowy Escape expansion pack, so having a look at this world, I found one house, which is 243 Wakobamori, which is just completely different to all of the other houses. I think it's because it's gone with a slightly more Scandi vibe, so everything is very wooden, but it looks very plain, and I really don't think it fits with any of the other houses in this world. So we're going to be renovating that today and just making it look a little bit nicer. I think we can make it look really good, especially if we try and stick to the original kind of wooden design that this house actually has. So let's crack on with that, and we're going to do a little tour first of the actual house if you haven't seen it already, and we're going to sort of work out what we can and can't keep and what I can kind of do with it. So obviously with first looks at this house, it is a very cream. Obviously every other lot for some reason looks like it's on grass if you have a look around it. I guess that one opposite isn't really, but we've obviously got this kind of dirt that it's built on top of. I absolutely love this little city area that's got all of these trees around it, these big old roads that drive through it, and obviously we've got this cute little path that goes all the way around the house as well. Very lacking in privacy, this house, though. You're definitely looking through every window that you could add into this house. It's very plain on the outside. Obviously I guess they could be going with a bit more of a minimal design, but it looks very basic, very minimal plants outside, no furniture on the outside of the building. If we have a look around the back, we do have a few plants, I guess, over on this side and obviously our bin. Let's have a look on the inside of the property though. Obviously we've got kind of two doors. I don't know which one is supposed to be the back door and which one's the front door. I assume this one's the back door over here and this one's the front door, given it's got the mailbox, and the bin is on this side. So as you enter through obviously the front door here, you've got a big double front door, these cute little like wooden panels over on this side, a bonsai tree straight away that has this nice view outside of these cute little plants. I think we could incorporate that, but maybe do it a little bit better. Obviously you come into what is a tiny little kitchen and dining table set. Our living room, very basic looking. Obviously got this cute like sort of mini bonsai tree on the table, big loads of books, and obviously a sofa and an armchair without the arms. We've got a little corridor here that just branches off into a few different rooms. Obviously we've got our main bedroom over here, so this is just a one bedroom house. Again, very simplistic, nothing really on the walls, simple bed with a little plant next to it and obviously a light. We've got our bathroom over here, which again, quite a simple design, very basic looking, with this sort of bath that's not even pressed up against a wall. I don't like the fact that you've got basically no privacy in this place. Like this guy who's over here could literally see you having a bath because there's not even curtains. We do have a separate toilet away from our bathroom. I don't know whether I would keep that. I think we'll decide in a sec whether I want to keep that or whether I just want to knock that through and just make it one entire room, because it would be quite a spacious room otherwise. But that's literally it. Very simple property, not a whole lot going on for it other than, like, obviously the idea is that it is a bit more of a simplest design. It's definitely got that more Scandi look about it with all of the wood and the cream tones, and it's very muted even when we have colour, such as the green back wall that we've got going all the way around here. But I definitely feel like there is quite a bit that we could just make this a little bit nicer. So I think I'm going to start with the outside of our building. It just kind of makes sense to sort out that part first, and then we can slowly move our way inside. I feel like the outside definitely needs the most work doing on it. It just doesn't look that great. It's very boring and a bit too... I think the one thing I want to do is try and make it look a little bit more like the rest of the buildings around this area, which is basically white and black colors palettes, which is quite easy to incorporate. But I think what I'm going to do is actually keep this cream color. We can do this light wood and keep that throughout the whole thing, because that's clearly what it's kind of going for. But we can add in that black, which I think is going to then make it a lot more like the other buildings, because at the minute it just stands out too much and just looks a bit ugly. I think as well we can see slightly that it is raised up a little bit. I kind of want to raise that a bit more just to have a look at what they've placed underneath. Yeah, so that I actually really like, the fact that it's raised up and we can see these little beams going all the way around. So I'm going to keep it raised up a little bit more. I think that looks good. If we go around the back as well, I do like this slight bump that we've got, so I am going to keep that. I'm actually thinking I might start on this back section here. This is a collection of plants, so we could keep that and just pop them somewhere else. I'm thinking we could actually make this whole section over here have a lot of plants going all the way across, potted plants. I do kind of want to change to wooden paneling as well, because it doesn't perfectly fit with kind of what we've already got. The color's just slightly off, and I'm not the biggest fan. Obviously, we did have this as a little step, so actually maybe we don't want to add plants here, because then we're not going to be able to do a whole lot with it. If we put this here, we do actually cover up this window a little bit as well, where we've got a bathroom, and it does give us privacy. So what I think I'm going to do is just add a few more plants along this wall here, and maybe even on this side. I do want to change that wood though, so I'm going to change that first. I am going to use a variety of different packs, just because I think it'll be a little bit easier to make it look a little bit nicer if we didn't just stick with the snowy escape. This is my favorite wood to use. It is so much nicer. I just think that it's a bit more desaturated, and it blends a little bit better without planks being harsh in terms of like shading of them. For example, this one has like very harsh shading. You can really see the defined planks. This one is a very soft, very scanned look, which is obviously kind of what this is going. It does blend in with this color a little bit as well. I think we can go lighter with it, but I think the lighter one just looks a little bit too white looking. We're gonna have to do the same on this side, I think, as well. Actually, it has dragged it over, I think, just a little bit darker. And the reason we've got the sun hitting this back end of the building, which is a little bit odd in terms of like architecturally, you would want it to be the other way around. So your front door is this way, so the front of your house actually gets all of the light during the main part of day. But obviously this is a video game, so we'll leave that for now. And obviously they have put sort of your front entrances over this side there, which we can't change. So as you can see, this is a very yellowy wood tone over here, so I'm going to want to change our front steps. Even just the ones that come in the Snowy Escape expansion pack fit better than the ones that they had there, so I'm not too sure why they picked those. We'll do those at the front and the back as well. Obviously we did want to include that black, but I'm not going to do that I think just yet. I think we could include that in things like the roof and the windows and doors, which I'll have a look at in a sec. So now I'm going to add some of these little plants that I wanted to incorporate on this sort of back section here. I think that's going to make it look a little bit nicer, just to have them sort of sit along this edge. It's definitely not the kind of edge that you would walk on anyway, even though it has this little step. I feel like it's definitely something that you could stack onto. Obviously I do have bb.move objects on. That just is going to allow us to move things a little easier around this space. I think we could even have a little hanging plant that's very cute. I think I'm going to put that over this side, and there's definitely a lot of flowers going on, which I think looks very nice with this sort of lighter wood color. I don't want to absolutely fill it. I think I'm just going to do a few in this sort of empty-ish space over here, not in front of these. I think that's fine. I think that looks pretty good. I might want to include actually one small plant just in here like that. That's looking better. So in terms of incorporating that sort of black door, let's see how it would look if we change this to black. See, I think that looks so much better. So I'm going to keep that looking like that. I think we'll do it with these as well, all of these doors and windows. I am going to do a little bit more to this back section in a second, but I just want to go around and fix this first. I do think I am going to change that front door, so I'm not going to fiddle with that yet though. So if we come back to our back area, obviously what I did want to do here was basically just do a few more planters, I think, in this window here, just because it could look very pretty and I kind of want to stick to that. Part of me is actually tempted just to use these, which could look kind of cool. Let's see what happens with two of those. I feel like they might look a little bit better if there was only one of each. They look a little bit duplicated, so we'll remove those, see if we can find it else. Something like this would look quite cool, I think, but again, it's only one square. Part of me is tempted to do this, which does look kind of cool, but I think it covers up way too much window. So what I think we're going to do is I'll section off this one bit at the front here with a fence, just a little one. Something like this would be fine. Or actually, we could go with a black one. That might look a little bit better. Yeah, that sticks in with our sort of theme that we're with. Then we can basically just make our own little area here that's just going to have some plants growing in it, and we can just kind of go a bit wild on what it's like. Just going to go with this cute little fern thing here, and then we could do with something a little bit taller. I don't know if we're going to be able to get something, maybe some this. We made it a bit smaller. We could add it in this corner, and then maybe just add flowers, because we do have a lot of flowers growing in this area. Something like that I did quite well. I'm going to make that fern just a little bit smaller. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. That was kind of what I was picturing, just a little area with plants. I do want to include some lighting, I think, just above here, or we could even include it just on this wall here. So I'm gonna see whether we can find something that's a bit more simplistic. I'm contemplating this one just because I really like the shape of it. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I like that so far. So obviously this is just our back garden, so we don't need to do a massive amount to it. I think that actually looks pretty good as just this little sort of back section that at least has a little bit more incorporated into it. I do feel like our bin could be a little bit nicer, so I might add this little black one instead. Yeah, that looks a bit nicer. Cool, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's move on to the front of the house now. This is the bit that I definitely feel like needs a lot of work because it looks very boring. So one thing I was thinking is this wall here, this whole section actually in this little walkway up the front door looks very plain, and it feels a little bit tight, like there's not really enough space as you walk through it. It's a bit too tight. So what I was thinking is incorporating some kind of window that would take us all the way to the front so that we get more light. Even just something like this kind of works a little bit better. Let's have a look and see how that would look if we added all. I mean, it looks a little bit better, but I think it's a bit too much going on. I think it needs to be a little bit more stuck. I don't even know if I want to actually keep these windows, because these ones that also come in the Snowy Escape expansion are very nice and they have open windows. So what I think I'm actually going to do is switch out some of the windows for those ones instead, because I definitely feel like these look a lot nicer, especially in this black color. The only issue with this obviously is that we don't have these massive windows that we here. I'm wondering whether we can incorporate some of the slightly longer ones like this to make that same effect. I think that we probably could if we did a few of them stacked next to each other. Something like that still looks pretty good. I'm even contemplating adding an additional door in just in this set here. I feel like there's maybe a bit too much of these little cross sections in the windows. We can make them a bit smaller though. But what I was thinking was actually having opening doors here so that you could still see. And this does actually come with opening doors, but obviously it would then be a step down just because this is raised up, but I don't really mind it. If we were to do that though, obviously we'd be removing these. So let's just get rid of those for now and look, and then we'll be adding this in, which I think that is actually pretty cute. I do like having these additional doors there, and that does give us the privacy if I lower this one down a little bit as well in the room that is up then. But I actually kind of like that. I think that looks pretty good. Let's add some more windows on this side then, just to make sure there's enough light going into that. That's looking pretty good around the back so far. Let's rotate it around and just fiddle around with the front again now. Still don't really know what I want to do with this section, but I have a slight idea of something work. What we could do is incorporate these going all the way down here to the end, and then just use one of these instead. So obviously it does come with these as the Snowy expansion, but I don't really like those ones particularly. I think better even just something a bit more simple. This kind of works, but this one I think actually looks best. I'm going to go with that, and that then opens it up a little bit more to the rest of it, and they perfectly go down into the bottom too. I am half tempted to add in a little fence as well though, although I do like it being quite open. So let's see whether it'd look better with or without it, because we do have these as well which look pretty good. I mean, the color matching isn't perfect. Let's see if we can get a different color. So it's either that or this one, which I think that one actually looks pretty good as well. I like the fact that it's got these black grates on it, which work perfectly with the black we're trying to incorporate. But I think that's definitely looking a lot more open and a lot better already. So obviously we're going to change our windows as well to match the ones that we added back. I do think I'm going to change this wooden text here, but I'm actually tempted to maybe add it in somewhere else, like across this side. But I'll have a look, because I do want to change these windows obviously well. But what I'm thinking is that we could actually incorporate it just going here, add in one of these little corners to maybe there. How does it look if we rotate it around? Yeah, I think it'd be good to have one. I'm even half tempted to add them in the corner of here, but I think the overhang doesn't look too bad. We'll add them in each of the corners. I think it'll look a little bit nicer. We can leave it in that other corner though. I'm going to add one here. I think that's looking pretty good already. I do want to change that to match the tone that's over here though, because there's a bit too many patterns going all in place. And then obviously we wanted these windows. I think we can have slightly smaller on this side, to be honest. I'm even tempted to actually match the color of what's in the back here, just because with the black ones they look a little bit too off. Okay, I'm feeling like this is looking a lot better. Let's change our front door now. I do just want to add in a nicer door. We do also obviously have the ones that have the same texture as our windows do. I don't know if it'll be a bit too much to incorporate that though as well. I think we'll have a look at some of the other doors we've got, because we've done quite a lot of stuff from the Snowy Escape expand packs so far, but I think there are some that will look pretty cool here. Even actually I was considering it on the back section here, just because this is a very modern door, and I think we'd do something that's soft, something like this work, because it's got that same thing in it. And if we went with this for our front door, it still has those same panels, but it's a lot more muted. I think it definitely looks a little bit better in that one. Then I think we do need some outdoor lighting, so I'm going to add both of those in to fill that space. Our windows videos as well. You can have a quick look at what that'll look like at night, which I think it definitely needed that lighting. It looks so much better. We obviously do have our lighting already outside this section as well, right at the back, just so that when we're taking out trash, if it's nighttime, obviously it still works. If you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to like, share and subscribe. I do want to fiddle around a little bit with our roof, just because I feel like, again, it just looks very plain. I do like the shape though. I'm just wondering, because obviously they've just used platforms in order to make this. We could make it a little bit better if we actually didn't use any platform at all. What we can do instead is if we lower all those platforms down, we can just use 2 slanted roofs to give us a little bit of more shape, I think. What I'm going to do is just get one large one to all the way over here, and then we're just going to make it much flat, like almost all the way down as we'll just make it as low as it'll go. Grab another one and stick it on this side. I'm going to do it this way, make that as small as it'll go, and then we can shorten it just a little bit on this edge here, and I think that already looks pretty good. I wish that this would go a little bit shorter, but I just don't think it's in the cards to do that. I'm gonna have a look and just make sure that that still looks all right once we add in some color and just match it. Half of me is tempted to actually get rid of rims, just because it looks a little bit big otherwise, and it's a bit clunky. And then I want something very plain. I think I'm gonna go with this one. I know the color's slightly off and it's a little bit dark, but I would kind of hope that it would be, but I think that it kind of is the most plain looking one without adding to it. So that's our new roof. I think it looks okay. I do wish that this was a little bit shorter. It's a shame that it won't get any shorter than that, just because it does look a little bit big. I feel like the reason that it looks a little bit strange as well is this big open section over here, but we could actually do some. I think it just needs something long going all the way across here. Something we could do is actually incorporate these from the Snowy Escape pack that we can then just branch off and put all the way across this very plain section, which I think this already looks way better. There we go. I feel like that looks pretty good for our roof now. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I'm now gonna, I think, start working on our actual front garden, because I think that this looks super boring and I'm just not a fan. I'm gonna get rid of the plants and rock. We can add in some much needed betterments. Part of me is actually tempted to do some kind of like sand and do it almost like it's a little Zen garden, which I think would be absolutely adorable. So I'm just gonna have a quick look. Could we move? Okay, so because we've risen it up, we can't actually move it back, but I think we could definitely do a Zen garden here, just because the shaping it looks pretty perfect. So I'm gonna section it off using a small fence, and we're just gonna do it, I guess we'll bring it out a little bit, maybe do it of this shape. Gonna drag it all the way over here, and we can just give it the maximum space that it can have, and we'll just go like that. And obviously for our little Zen garden, we're gonna need it to mainly just be sand, and then obviously we're gonna need some rocks. So I've never actually done a Zen garden on here before, so I'm kind of excited to try it, but obviously it's only gonna be a little one, and the idea I think is gonna be one of those ones that you don't really walk into, it's kind of there for the asks. So we go grab sand first. We've got a few different sort of sands that try. I'm gonna try and get one that doesn't have a lot of texture right off bat, so fiddle with it. So that one's got quite a lot of texture. This one I think is quite pretty, so I think I'm gonna go with drag it all the way up to this edge. I think I'm gonna start by just adding in our rocks and some foliage first, so that we get an idea of the shaping, and then I am gonna go through and try and do some shapes in the sand, which I think will be really difficult, but we'll see how it goes. So obviously you're gonna start out with some rocks, and I think this is kind of the idea, isn't it? These ones, do you like colors of these? They're very pretty. I want to try and match them to these a little bit, just because I do want to incorporate more than just the rock that they've got in pack. I think that's looking pretty good. I do kind of like how it's looking so far. I want to add maybe just one little thing there. Then yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So now we can go ahead and try and work out this sand, and I feel like this is going to be quite difficult, so let's just see if we're able to do it somehow. There is obviously these things as well which are designed to go around our rocks, so I'm going to do a few of those, I think, just to make it look a bit more realistic. I think that does look pretty cool. There's loads of different shapes as well, so you can make sure that it matches. That's looking really awesome already. Let's add a few more. I'm going to add this bigger one. It's a little bit of an issue just because we're kind of got this edge right here that might cause problems. We do have this cool little lantern rock as well, which I think, could I put that there, or does that look a bit weird? Because then when it's night, how does it look? That's kind of cute. If we could incorporate maybe two, if I did another little one over here, does that look a bit weird when it gets to the daytime? I don't think it looks too bad, actually. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I do just want to add some shading underneath our moss area just to make it stand out a little bit more. Just gonna go in with a a light brush of this part and to make it stand out a bit against this nice sand that we've got. And obviously I do want to do it around this edge over here as well. Okay, pretty happy with that. I think that looks really cute. We've got our little Zen garden right at the front of the building. So now we can move on to the rest of the front of the house. I don't want to incorporate a massive amount more, but I think it'd be cute to incorporate like a little seat or something right at the front. Even just something like this where like wooden chairs would probably work. If I just do a couple right at front here, how does that? I mean, it doesn't look too bad. I think maybe if we put a little table thing in the middle with like on it, it might be a bit better. There you go. So I've just put some cups and a little glass up there. I think that's looking far better at the front of the garden now. Just want to have a quick look at this bit as our first little entrance in here, and then we can move on to the inside. I think it could be good to incorporate some hanging plants, maybe with some of that, where they are just hanging right next to where you're walking in. I think that's pretty good. So now we can move on to the inside of the house finally and start decorating. So obviously we have changed up a little bit of the inside, just because obviously we've changed all of the windows and everything, so they're all black, so it is obviously already going to look a bit different. I'm thinking instead of this bonsai tree, which is kind of cute, I kind of want to still include that. I might move it over here. We might put like a little table or something here instead, just so that then we could add a few more bits of it. Part of me is actually thinking kind of like shoe storage area that we could just keep there, so that when you get in, you take your shoes off and immediately there. Actually wondering if we can make something like that with these squares. If we just stack, sadly they don't reach the end, which is super annoying. We could have it so that it's actually sticking out though a bit like that. It just doesn't particularly look as good. What if we did 3 and then just stack up a bit like that? Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking. Gives us this little homemade, almost IKEA-esque storage unit for all the shoes, which we can then, obviously I'm going to put some decorations on top of it as well, as we do have that space. I think I would rather it be a bit more simplistic, maybe one plant and some books or something. We just go with some flowers maybe, and we'll just go with some books so it doesn't look like it's too much going on. I do think I want to do some coat hangers or something. Then obviously we're going to go through it and just add in all of those. I think we're going to stick with the simplistic thing and just do that simple coat rack there. Then obviously we can go through and add in shoe. I've added just a little beam in here just because I kind of wanted to separate it off the rest of the room. I'll add these 2 bits just so that adds this extra bit. I think that that's pretty good. I do think I want to change some of the walls and things around this entire room, to be honest. Even to just something maybe more that. Actually, I don't know how I feel about the panels. It's like not too bad. I could leave it. I think I'm going to leave it. We'll leave it just for this one room here. I do want to change the wood again, I think, just to something else. Thinking we maybe go with something like this. Now we've finished our little section down there we can choose off. We can then move over to our kitchen area / dining area. Obviously, this is the minimum amount of space that you want to be able to have in a kitchen. We have 1 counter to work on, sink, oven, and fridge. Obviously, the first thing that I'm thinking is, could we move door just to give us a bit more space? We could, but because of where we've placed these steps outside, it doesn't work that way. I'm wondering whether we could actually shuffle everything up a bit though, just to give us a bit more space. Do it a little bit more like this. I think that's looking a little bit better, and because we've done that now, we do have extra space that we can then incorporate a large kitchen, which I think is probably what this needs. It won't be a massively large kitchen, but it will be a little bit bigger, which is what I think will make it feel a bit more extravagant, I guess. We can now add a corner unit, which will make it look a bit bigger. And then I want to include a couple of bits on the walls and obviously some decorations here. I am tempted to add shelves in as well, just over here. I'm gonna go find some shelves that work now. I think these ones look pretty good because they're like a nice light. Now I'm gonna go in and obviously do all of our decorating. So I'm just gonna shuffle these out now, and then we add in all decorations on the shelves. And obviously we can kind of try and stick to the minimal look that we've been doing across all of them. I think that would probably be a better idea anyway. So now I've added our little kitchen bits. I can go in and then add some plants in, and then it should look a bit better. I got to work out what I want to put in this back corner as well. Cabinet. I'm just going to add some little plants here and there just to add in that greenery. And obviously I'm just using Alt 9 in order to raise up all these items, and I think that's pretty good for our then. The only other thing I can think is that we can maybe add some aprons in over here if I make them a little bit smaller. Yeah, I think that would be good. Awesome. So there's our kitchen sorted. I'm then going to go over here and sort out our little dining table. I do want to change the flooring as well again, just to a slightly different wood. We could go with literally the same wood that I think we've gone with down here, but I'm not too sure how that'll look. Let's see. How does that? I mean, I think that looks a little bit better than what we had. Yeah, I like that one. I think the pattern's in it a little bit nicer as well. Then I don't think we need anything else. Maybe I'll just add add a little plant or something to the middle. Or this little tea set is actually really cute. I think that works really well actually. So now we can go ahead and do our living area, which I actually don't mind. I just think that it needs a little bit of like something doing to it that makes it look a bit nicer. I think it just looks a bit plain. So if we go maybe darker woods, how does this look if we do similar colors to what we've done? I mean, I think it looks a little bit better actually. Then could add some curtains over the top of here maybe, make it feel a bit cozier. And then I definitely think I want to, actually don't know if these are a little bit dark. This is a bit of a nice green, but that is going back to this sort of lighter wood color. Actually, yeah, that's fine. I don't mind it. It looks still pretty. Maybe these curtains, and then we can add the curtain rail at top. I feel like that looks a little bit now. Obviously, we don't have a TV anywhere, but I don't think we necessarily did. Do think we could use something in this corner over here though. Maybe another plant or something to bring more of that green there. Something nice and big like that. Yeah, I think that room's looking pretty good already. I'm going to see how it looks with a rug just because I am really tempted to include one. Let's go with that. Now, obviously, we're heading down this little hallway. I want to include an additional light down here, even if we're quite small, just because very dark hallway. I'm not the biggest fan of these doors, and I'm still tempted to break this up and just make it one whole room. I think I am going to do that. So I've got this entire room to play with and do what we want with. I think I'm going to go similar to what we did other room and just use that slightly darker tone across the wall. I've got extra light in there now, so I'm going to remove that, give it that slightly darker tone. I think we could make this quite nice. I do like this bath. It definitely fits with the room. I'm not a big fan of flooring though. Don't know whether maybe it might be better if we actually section this off like this and actually just bring up the floor. So if we do 2 platforms there and then 1 form here, I feel like it looks a little bit clunky in the room this size. So what I think I'm going to do instead is actually, we will do a platform, but I'm going to bring it down so that it's not 2. So I think I'm going to split this entire area off and we just have its own little bath area, and then we can have this area down here with the toilet and the sink. Keep the toilet, why not? I'm going to move this slightly more into the middle and we can have the sink this side. I might change the sink just because it's ugly. I'm not too sure about the toilet to be fair, but I just want to sort out this area over here first. I'm actually tempted to lower it so that it's lower, not higher, because then you step into the area rather than stepping up to make it feel a bit more cozy. I'm going to use these potentially. Those are the only ones that we've got that kind of look like that. So just to make it look like little pebbles, and then we can add some little step take you over there. I'm just going to use these little rugs to make them smaller. I can then just step up. Alternatively, you could use items in debug to be able to do that. I just can't be bothered to turn it on at the moment. Add in 2 little walls wedged here and here, and I think I'm just going to use windows on those just to separate them. And then to make it feel a bit more like a sauna, I've added in these wooden sort of planks all the way across walls. I do think I want to include some kind of curtain, maybe something like this on there, just to be able to close it while you're having a bath, because I felt before like it way too open. Then finally, I do just want to add in some plants and stuff in this area just to make it feel a little bit more like green. I feel like at the minute it's very just black and brown. Do want to add that in there as well, just so that we've got sort of towel that's hanging off there and a little sponge. There we go. We've got 2 little plants there. I think I'm going to add 1 more just next to this one, but I think that looks pretty cute in there. I like that. And then we can go over here and do our other little area, which I'm now a bit better feeling about these sort of black tiles because they do go with this. I think I just want to change this little panel here. I think this is fine so far. I just want to put like a full length mirror over here, I think, or what else might actually work there? We'll put something there. I think maybe a bin might work. I'm trying to think of what you'd have like in a bath. You'd have just a little bin in this corner. Then on the other side, obviously, I think I do want to change these because they just look cheap. Go with maybe this one from the tiny living pack, just a full length mirror there, and then maybe we'll add just light above where we've got our sink. So now I think we can move over to our next area, which is obviously the last bit, which is our big old bedroom. So to be honest, I don't mind the bedroom. I just feel like it's very empty. There's not really a whole lot going on. Obviously, we have made it feel a little nicer by having this big open doorway. Definitely great for if it was summer as well. You could let all of that natural breeze come in. Gonna grab our darker tone because that's always better for bedrooms anyway. And I'm gonna replace all of this wall here. And to be honest, I might do the entire room now and see how that looks. I do kind of prefer that. I do like the look of this on this back wall here though, so I might re-add back in. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think it would be good to have a desk in here just to use the space a little better. So I'm going to get rid of this cabinet thing for now. I think this side of the bedroom's actually fine, although I do want to include a rug just at the bottom. Something a bit plainer like that actually works quite well though, and it matches our wall. So what we still need to include is a wardrobe, and then I would like to be able to desk in. We have this much space to be able to fiddle around to do that, so let's see if we have enough space for for that. I'm thinking we have our desk on this side, so out the window. I am disliking this window that's just literally stuck right there though, so I wonder whether if we got rid of that and maybe moved this over a bit and do the same with this one, and it's gonna look not as weird. Then you come straight into your desk there, and we got a wardrobe maybe on this side here or over. We've got our small little desk there all set up. Now we can add in our desk chair. I think there should be some that are quite good for this. We could just go with a similar one for the other room as well. I think that still works quite well. I think that does look pretty cute. We can then go have a look at our wardrobes. I'd prefer something that can just slot in there, but obviously it would only have to be, it would only be able to be like 1 square wide. So I don't know if we'll find something that actually fits. There are a few things like this that would go quite well, I think. Obviously we do have this one as well, which I really like, and that does actually fit quite well in there. We do have this little corner section though that I do want to put something in. We could do a mirror. Let's see if it looks a bit something like this. I think it's quite well. Does look a little bit tight in that area though, so I might just go with a plant ad. I'm trying to think of something that's actually a bit more simple, like this one strip bamboo. Actually looks pretty nice. I kind of like that there. I do think that that looks pretty good for this room, just because I don't want this room to feel overcluttered at all, and it's already got quite a bit of extra thing. But I think that's everything then. We've completely renovated this house. And there we have it, our rebuild of 243 Waka Bomari. I think that this came out looking really good. I probably wouldn't have really played it as it was originally. I don't think it looked that great. It looked super boring, to be honest, but I really like this one. I love the little Zen garden out the front. We've added additional seating, which I think is always good. I really like the unique builds that we've done inside, including in the bathroom where we've added this lowered down bathing area. We've obviously added in our own sort of IKEA-esque cabinet at the end for the shoes as well in the main entrance way. I think the kitchen looks a bit better now that it's got more space, and obviously we've added an additional seating at the dining table too, and I think that adding the desk into the bedroom is obviously makes it way more usable. But let me know what you think of this build in the comments below. It is uploaded on the gallery as well under HextraHunt, so you can download it there if you'd like to have it. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. I post long content as well as shorts. If you enjoyed this video, there is another recommended video on the screen now, so you can check that one out too, and I hope you all have a great evening.